Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast Radio.
Well, last month, Mann Engineering was announced as the winner of the overall Business of the Year at the County Wexford Business Awards. Rolf Fuhrmann, Managing Director of Mann Engineering, joins us now to tell us about this award-winning business. Rolf, the Mann Engineering story actually dates back to 1976.
Yeah, when my parents set up the company they invented a calving aid. They spent the next 20 odd years manufacturing calving aids down in Campile. And as that was only seasonal product, they diversified into repairing shopping trolleys. So they picked up some local trolleys in the local supermarket and repaired one or two. And that morphed itself into shopping trolley repair nationwide for Dunn's, H. Williams at the time, Quinsworth, Tesco now, Roach Store, Super Quinn, and you would have had a good relationship with like Fergal Quinn and Super Quinn at the time.
I'd like to have a chat to you next about the engineering aspect of the business. When did that begin and what was the focal point for it?
Brought up in engineering and finished in school, and I went off done an apprenticeship, and I served my time up in Dublin with a turning shop, and he used to be a supplier for the father for the calving jacks, and I spent 3 years in Dublin doing the apprenticeship, and then I finished that, and to avoid work as much as I could, I went to college for a few years. But then when I finished college, the company that I'd done the apprenticeship had packed up, and they were selling their machines at a good price, I suppose. And it got me interested when I was doing the apprenticeship on cam autos, kind of production machining. And so he gave us an offer to sell or to buy the machines, and he gave me contact in a customer at the time in '93, which, as it turns out, that customer is still with us, and he's in the top 5. He's about 15% of our turnover still.
And in terms of the services that you provide today, you're involved in both assembly, fabrication and machining. Provide us with an insight into a typical project in that regard.
50% of it would be a repeat business. So a customer come in with a drawing. It could be for the unengineered person, I suppose, we call it, and I know some people might say you're not doing yourself any justice, it's a bolt, a glorified bolt. So you get a drawing of a bolt, and they want 2,000 of them, and it might be in the stainless steel or brass, or they wanted a colour on it. And we price that up, and the PO comes in, and we get a 3-metre bar put into the machine at one end, press the button. It's a bit more than press the button. You do the programming, engineering and gauges. And then the other end, the finished part comes out, and we could have to make one up to maybe 5,000 to 10,000 parts off. And that's on the turning side. That's the turning side. The middle turn is what we call it. So the machine can drill holes, put flats on it, put square holes on it, slots, threads inside, outside. So and that's the turning side. And then the machining centre, some jobs it's a plate, and you have to put a series of holes drilled and tapped and put slots in it, or castings, and you'd have to put holes on different planes, and that's on the machining centre side. And on the fabricating, we still continue with that, but we make light fabricated products like sack trucks and stock trolleys, and light fabricated products, bending handles for customers. So that's the 3 areas. As I say, it's the precision area, the machining is, as I say, it's 90% of the turnover for the company.
So in a nutshell, you're making precision machine parts for companies in the agri space, other engineering companies, electrical companies, and one that I want to focus on for a second is companies in the oil and gas space. Provide us with an insight into that. Early
2010, through Enterprise Ireland, we got an accelerator program. We were on an accelerator program, so we had a salesman in England, and we knocked on the door at the right time, and they're looking for a company to produce parts, machine parts. There's Parker Hannifin. So we used to do about 10 to 15,000 parts a month for them, machine parts. It was for the oil and gas and hydraulic fitting sector. And a few years later, that company bought out a Snaptight in Wexford Town, which is an oil and gas, and they were looking for subcontractors. It just happened to be in, it's appropriate time. We hit the door at the right time, and they were looking for subcontractors in South East. So we started with 4 jobs, and now we would have about 50 or 60 parts for them. But they're all valves and fittings for the oil and gas oil refineries and oil rigs. So we machines all stainless steel and has to be traceable. So that's where the oil and gas area came from.
Mann Engineering has been located in Campoile for almost 30 years now. In some respects, it's under the radar and a hidden gem. But talk to us about the growth and what you've done with the business over the past 30 years from a numbers perspective.
When Agriculture started up to the 93, there's about 10 people employed. When I started in 93, there was me, I suppose, and it grew to about another 15, I suppose, up to early 2005. At the minute, we have just 26 of us, plus myself and the wife, and the parents are still here, kind of. The father still does a bit of assembly work. The father is 80 now this year, but a German that he is, he won't relax, so he tips away on it. We've grown, and looking at it, the growth happens in, I say we bought Cam Autos when the company started out because they're cheap machine to buy, I think £10,000 a machine or something like that. And then we got some more complicated work, and we had to invest in CNC lathes and CNC machines. And with the help of Enterprise Ireland, with grants that came available in mid-2000s, we purchased a few machines. But I do know for a fact, if we hadn't invested in CNC machines at the time, we wouldn't have been able to grow or take the future into our own hands, because we've been hoping we'd be getting work off the customers, where now we can kind of push out the envelope and kind of go after companies where we feel we can provide them with a service. It's the technology. We've been lucky. We've gone with the newest technology. I remember when we went to Mac Show in 2003, we had it's a 3-axis lathe where you put in the bar and you part it off, but you have to do a second op, you have to turn it around and do another op. So it's more labour intensive. And we went over to Birmingham that year to look at a machine that's pick up the part and do more work on it. But instead of buying for engineering a twin spindle, we went for a twin spindle, triple third, so the part came off even quicker. So we just made that step that we saw the potential of what this other machine could do. Now, had we a lot of work done for it? Had we a lot of work projected for it? No, but we had a month's work or 2 months' work that we said we had work for that, and it went from there. And I remember the electrical company that we used to do a lot of the parts on the Cam Autos, and the example is that people might kind of appreciate the difference between Cam Autos and CNC was we used to make a part in Cam Auto. It used to take a minute. Then we used to take it out, drill it, and then take it out and tap it, and then drill it again. So there's 4 operations, and it was labour intensive, and it took 2.5 minutes. Now, we bought in a machine at the time, and the same job was done on one machine in 29 seconds.
And Rolf, in terms of future growth plans, you have your sights firmly set on high-value products in the aerospace market.
The country is a small country, and there's a group of companies in Ireland that have come together as a cluster. Emerald Aerospace, we're called. There's about 12 companies. We're one of them. There's Carlo, and there's over in Limerick, there's the 12 of us. We got together because you go to the aerospace market now, where it came from through Enterprise Ireland as well. I think at the minute there's a 14 billion euros worth of machine parts that's required for aerospace. They say if you want to buy a plane, it's a backlog of 10 years. But when you go and knock on their door, you have to get accreditation, which is fine. But then the turnover has to be over 10 or 50 million. So all our companies individually couldn't reach that, but as a cluster we can. So now between the Enterprise Ireland grants and working together, we have pathfinders or sales reps that are in America, Germany, France, looking at the aerospace market for us to see can we get business, a quote for business.
And of course, recently, Mann Engineering picked up the overall Business of the Year at the coveted County Wexford Business Awards. What did this mean for you?
First category was in it for the small business, 1 to 50 employees. I remember it going up, and then we were Mann Engineering, the winners. Myself and Mary looked at each other and said, what the hell? So went up and proud as punch. And then at the end of the night, it came the overall winner, and I saw it, I think there was 19 categories, and we were flashed up on, we were one of the 19 companies, and then the overall winner is Mann Engineering, I said myself, Mary just dropped. It's speechless. But we went out and had to do a few interviews and what, and they asked me the same question what you just asked, and the one overriding thing, and I think that I suppose the Irish were good at not appreciating, the main thing is this achievement has made us realise is that we don't appreciate or recognise that we are doing a good job and that we can be as good as the best, and therefore we should always strive to be the best. I don't think we realise that we are the best, and we are world class, but we don't appreciate that.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Rolf Fuhrmann from Mann Engineering, and we look forward to watching the company's continued success.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Carl Fitzpatrick.
Southeast